Hi everyone, it's Miss Malcolm. Let's have a look at surface area. We often talk about perimeter and area, so what's the difference? So perimeter, if you look at the prefix in the front, it just means peri, which means around or surrounding. So when we're looking at perimeter, it's just the length all the way around an object. Area is the amount of space inside the boundary of a flat 2D object, like a rectangle or a triangle or circle. So if we look down at the little example here, you can see that our perimeter all the way around would be 4 centimeters, whereas our area, length times width, which is 1 times 1, will just give us 1 squared centimeter. So to calculate the total surface area of a 3D object, first you have to find the area of each individual face and then add up the total area of those faces. Let's have a look at this Rubik's Cube. If I were to draw this Rubik's Cube in a 2D representation, I would get the net. And the net shows us that this object has 6 equal square faces. And we can use the net to help us determine the area of each face so we can add them together to get the surface area. Sometimes we'll use a formula, so I'll show you how to do that as well. Let's have a look at a rectangular prism. What you'll notice with the rectangular prism is that you have 3 sets of identical faces. So if you find the area of the first face, you can multiply it by 2 because there are 2 of them. Same goes for the second face and the third. So let's have a look at how we can use that information and construct a formula. If we have a look at one of the vertices on our rectangular prism, we can see a Y shape that exists here. So we want to use that Y shape in the corner to help us determine the surface area. So I'm just going to kind of change the orientation of that and draw myself a Y. So next we want to look for our length, width, and height, which are just the dimensions. So you'll see in the example given, we have 10 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches. So when we put those on the Y, we're going to put our shorter side over here, our next here, and our longest down here. And it really doesn't matter the order, it doesn't matter how you choose which variable is which, because it's still going to give you the same answer in the end. So next we're just going to multiply the two numbers and put that in between. So 3 multiplied by 4 gives us 12. 3 multiplied by 10 gives us 30. And 4 multiplied by 10 gives us 40. So all we've done here is we've taken the length, the width, and the height and calculated those answers. So in the top space we have WH, on the left we have LW, and on the right we have LH. So we can use that information to look at our formula. So our formula says that the surface area is equal to 2 LW, length times width, plus length times height, plus width times height. And we've already calculated those using our diagram. So that's going to give me 40 plus 30 plus 12. We do what's in the brackets first, so that's going to give us 82. And then 2, because we have those double sets of faces, we have 2 multiplied by 82, which gives us 164. And then we want to include our units, and remember they're squared units because we're covering area. All right, let's look at our cylinder. So to find the area of the cylinder, we have 2 bases, which are our circles over here. And then we have a rectangle. In order to find the surface area of a cylinder, we have to determine the area of each one of these pieces and add them together. So first of all, we know to find the area of a circle, area is equal to pi r squared. Okay, so we have 2 of those. So we have 2 pi r squared plus we need the rectangle. And in order to find the rectangle, we need to find this side and this side. The shorter side is always going to be our height, and the longer side that goes around the circle in this example is the circumference of the circle. So if we were to open up the circle and lay it flat, it would be the same length as the side of the rectangle. So to find the circumference of a circle, we use 2 pi r. Now, to find the area of the rectangle, it's just 2 pi r times height. So in our formula, we're going to write that as 2 pi RH. And remember, when all of the variables and numbers are together, that just means that we're multiplying them all. The next thing we'll do is just build a little legend of the information that we have. So we look for our radius is 2 centimeters. Sometimes it'll give you the diameter, which is straight across. In this case, it would be 4 centimeters. And you just have to remember to take half of that. And the height or the length of our prism, our cylinder here, is 5 centimeters. From here, we're going to look at where those variables are in the formula. So we have our radius here and here, and we have our height here. We're going to use that information just to be able to substitute in those values. So 2 pi times r squared, so that's 2 squared, plus 2 pi times r, which is 2 times 5. Now you can solve in terms of pi like we did yesterday, but this is another method that you might find a little bit easier to calculate. What we're going to do is we're going to solve these two pieces individually first and then add them together. So 2 pi times 2 squared equals 25.12, and 2 pi multiplied by 2 by 5 is 15.7, and our last step would be to add those two values together, which equals 40.82, and remember to include your units, centimeters, and for area, it's always centimeters squared. I hope that helps clarify some of your questions, and I'll post this video in the Google Classroom as well.